Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Vintage House Show.
What's happening, Vintage House family? We are live in studio at WNUR 89.3 FM, Evanston, Chicago. And we are live on Facebook Live, on Twitch, on YouTube. We are busy tonight, man. We got a lot going on.
Yeah, we're everywhere.
I know. So, this is the first spotlight for our resident DJ Carl Jenkins. Yay! So excited to have you.
All right. I've been in the studio before. I've hung out in the studio before.
Yes, you have.
I was not the
You,
interview subject.
but you got to spin live behind a discussion between Lori Branch and Alan King. So you
Right.
know the setup, you know the flow, you know
Yeah.
what's going on here,
Mhm.
and it just was a fantastic. It was a nice, from what I remember, it was a great
Yeah, that was
conversation
fun.
with. Yeah, it was a lot of
Yeah.
fun that night. So this will be cool.
Yep.
And so, Carl, we've been doing the spotlight now for the last since the beginning of the year, where we've
Okay.
highlighted young and mature DJs in an effort to encourage the music form. And we're happy to have you sort of be the host and the resident DJ for that, holding down the mature DJs. Okay. Holding
Proudly,
down.
I'll own that title.
I mean, I think you're about 21 now. And so, we're calling that mature.
All right.
And so before we talk to another one of our guests tonight, I want to just talk to you a little bit about your Chicago life. Give me your origin story.
All right. Well, South Side of Chicago, which I'm
A
sure
little
you
bit
know.
about
And I grew up. You know where Chicago State University is, right?
how you started spinning.
Oh, oh,
Yep.
oh.
Oh, yep. Yep. So I grew up 94th and Rhodes, born and raised on the South Side of Chicago, and somewhere around, I think for eighth grade, I transferred over to the lab schools. I was became a prep school kid, stayed there for high school, and that's where I ended up getting exposed to a lot of things going on musically, a la Alan King, who was a year ahead of me at lab, but we're all one big family there. And he used to show up in the cafeteria with his boom box. Now we're talking about 1977, so his boom box was about this big. But he
Yeah.
would show up, and I remember the very first mix he played for us on his boom box was the Gap Band's "Shake Your Booty." I don't know if he's listening, but I think he told me that was actually a pause button mix he did. And so the fascination with being able to change music from what is the official recorded take is was a concept that I got exposed to sitting around in that cafeteria. He was DJing with Tony Hatchett at the time, and then shortly thereafter, Wayne and Jesse, they all joined up. And if you remember back then, high school campuses were open. Everybody could just walk in. So during the middle of the day, we might be in the cafeteria with Wayne and Jesse, and I think Jesse was dating Hillary Dibble at the time. So there were always different people hanging out in the school. And those guys started DJing parties in the Highlands and every place else for all the prep school kids. And of course, everyone said, "Hey, I want to get my two turntables and a mixer." And I fell into that camp. And Alan was gracious enough to hand off some parties to myself and a gentleman named Charles Mosley, who I DJ'd with. And that's how we sort of got into it at the prep school level. And we're talking 1978, 79, 80.
Whoa, that's early. That's early, Carl.
Yes, before they called it house music, it was just sort of dance music and disco. And the whole notion of recognizing that traditional commercial channels for music really delivered only 10% of what somebody would really want to hear and like. And the fact that there is a lot of good music that comes from elsewhere uh, was a nice discovery to make as a kid. Not only through listening to folks like the DJs, the mobile DJs and DJ Cruz, but Herb Kent had his show. And my mind really was opened up to the fact that there's a lot of good music out there that you don't hear through traditional channels by P-Funk, believe it or not. Those are my musical heroes. My
Oh, wow.
first album was P-Funk Earth Tour, Parliament Live. And that blew my mind when I heard that. I said, okay, I know I heard Parliament on the radio, but this is something different. And from that point on, just being open to all sorts of music and the wide range that house music really pushes forward was sort of a natural flow.
That is quite a story. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. DJ Allen King says you're always listening. I don't know if you can see his comment, but he's
I
love
can't
to
see his
DJ
oh,
Allen
I see it.
King.
Okay, yeah, I see it now. Thanks, AK. All right,
We did a
my
great
big brother.
interview with Alan yesterday and his daughter
Ah,
Uh,
talking
Lawrence,
right.
about again exactly what we're doing to the house music family,
Mm-hmm.
and so that is fantastic. So your first, I mean, so some people do like again. I always like to say some people love music. It's always great.
Lori
You know,
Westerfield. All right.
there you go. Yeah. So people, I mean, I think we all like music, but not everyone decides to pick up turntables and
Mm.
start to learn the craft in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so talk to me a little bit. You hinted to it, but talk to me a little bit about sort of suggesting, you know what, I'm going to keep learning. I'm going to keep doing this as you became an adult or over time. Did you stop? Did you start? Did you always continue to enjoy the music?
Well, great question. So not only do I enjoy the music, but sharing music, discovering great music and sharing it with others and watching their response is hard to describe how fulfilling that is. But it is something that I enjoyed in high school, and then I went away to college in St. Louis in 1982, fall of '82 at Wash U in St. Louis. And in St. Louis at the time, the notion of playing music continuously, songs back to back, beat matching, hadn't really hit yet. They were probably about a year from that. And a lot of the kids who were coming to college there hadn't heard that. So I would hear a lot of those fall parties freshman year. They would say, "Are you playing the same song?" They would ask me that an hour later after I had mixed probably 20 songs. And so the notion of one playing the music in a way that they hadn't heard it before, but also sharing some of the music that was coming out of Chicago or that we were playing in Chicago was from all over the world to a group that probably uh, they were more inclined to hip hop, which was coming, sort of into its own around 82, 83. That was a lot of fun. So I spun all through college and was one of the campus DJs, so to speak. But after college, I went out like a lot of folks and said, "Hey, I need to go make some money so I can move out of my mom's crib." And so you had to put the turntables and the music down.
Well, I'd like to discuss that a little too, because I'm always, again, in my world, I always had parents who didn't encourage creative ventures. They
Hmm.
did not encourage me to do anything creative. I asked my
Right.
father to teach me how to play the guitar my whole
Hmm.
life. There was a
Yep.
guitar in the house. I now have it in my house. He didn't even
Hmm.
bother to take the time to
Mm.
teach me that. It was like school, education,
Yeah.
school.
Right.
Don't even think about anything creative because no one's going to make any money on that, right? And we're not
Right.
house.
Right. Right.
Do you? And I think as a young person, we should always encourage our young people to do the creative things now, because you can read a book anytime, right? You can read a book
Right.
until you're
Right.
90
Right.
and get a degree. You can get a law degree. You can get everything you need to
Right.
get
Right.
at 50 years old. But you're never going to be young again, where you could travel
Hmm.
the world, not sleep for 24 hours, and be fine.
Right.
So, do you regret? I mean, did you ever think you could have a career, or there were careers to be had in musically, or in sort of what
Well,
you liked?
I didn't think that there were the kind of careers you see now. I certainly never thought that was available. And am I still on? My computer just freaked out.
No, you're still on. Mine
Okay,
is
all
going in
right.
and out too, but we can still hear
Okay.
you and see you.
Okay. All right, great. So I never thought there was the kind of careers we see now. I would never have envisioned that. And I'll go back to a point you made about our parents. So my parents actually encouraged me in the music world to learn instruments. So I played instruments as a kid.
Oh, nice.
Guitar was the first instrument, then trumpet. Then I got braces, and I couldn't fit the mouthpiece, my lips in the mouthpiece, so I got a trombone with had a bigger mouthpiece. the baritone. So from that standpoint, they encouraged creativity there. But once I transferred to lab and they were paying those lab bills and they were selling Amway products in addition to their day jobs, trying to afford to send me to lab, they said, hey, we can't pay for instruments, we can't pay for lessons. So you got to drop all that and get through this schooling. So they're actually very practical people though. So they did say you got to go to school, get that education, like you said. And creativity is for fun and passion, but not earning a living, not making money. So they didn't actively discourage, but they very much encourage books and schooling, as you said.
Got it. Well, this is a great way to transition in our March Spotlight guest. Can you all still hear me okay? I had to throw in another microphone. Our March Spotlight guest is DJ Cash Era from Chicago. Cash Era.
What's up, y'all?
Awesome. Congratulations for winning the Spotlight. Our March Spotlight had 5 amazing women from all over the world. And you smoked them in the votes. The votes were pretty good, right, Justin?
Yeah, they were all participants. It was one of the best spotlight voting turnouts that we've had, which I think attests to you all being young. So you guys know how to work all your social media channels. So that helped out a lot. That helped out a lot.
Thank you. Yeah, shout out to my mom. My mom definitely. I know my mom and my grandma were addicts avidly. I had taken a vacation while voting was going on. I was in New Orleans and waiting for the flight. I was just in the airport, just going at it. I got to the early. I was like, well, it's my time to shine. Let me get my votes up. So, yeah.
That's great.
Nice. You and DJ Mondai, I think, were
like neck and neck.
Yeah, we were neck and neck for a lot of it. And I haven't met Mondai yet, so I definitely got to meet Mondai and link up with her too.
Yeah. So, DJ Cashera, while we have you here, talk to us a little bit again about your background. I keep telling everyone that you are on fire. You got a lot of marketing out there. You got a lot of fantastic things in your background. Talk to me about sort of your start and where you see your career going.
Oh, the second part's a very heavy question. I got my start in DJing my freshman year at Columbia. I took a class called Club DJ, and it was taught by DJ INC. So he taught me everything from vinyl, CDJs to controllers, the whole nine. And I was just doing that as a hobby. And then the very next semester, I started working with a nonprofit called Young Chicago Authors, DJing their poetry slam called Louder Than a Bomb. It's the world's largest youth poetry slam festival held right here in Chicago. And the rest is history. I started DJing private events on campus at Columbia. I graduated from Columbia in 2017 with my bachelor's in radio and a minor in television. Thank you so much. It's just been going up from there. So I love what I do. DJing wasn't what I saw myself doing full time. I was always so stuck in a very radio set of mine. I want to be on air. I want to do this and this and this. And DJing found me. I wouldn't say that I found DJing. I would say DJing found me. As far as where I see my career going, I try to set small goals. In my mind, they're small. So my next smallish goal is to go on tour. I really want to go on tour with a comedian. So whenever comedy shows are a thing again, I want to go on tour with a comedian. Of course, I want to play big festivals and whatnot. I challenge myself to travel to one other state or country at least once a year, just strictly for DJing, which I'm making that happen tomorrow. So I'm very happy about that. I feel like there's no limit to what I can do or can't do. And then long-term goal within the next 2 to 5 years, I want to own my own bar or lounge in Chicago and run that. That way I have a space where I can provide a platform for other DJs, especially women and queer people, to come in and DJ and make money here in Chicago too.
Wow, those are fantastic goals.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Very proud of you. So you have a major banker on the line with you today. DJ Carl Jenkins is not only our resident DJ, but he's an extremely powerful banker in the city of Chicago. He's,
No.
the money is. You know where all the money is, right? Right,
Uh,
Carl?
a little bit, a little bit.
He knows exactly where the dough is, and I'm telling you right now,
All
we
right.
can make sure that when you're ready to open that club, we're gonna call Carl immediately, and he's gonna hook you
Okay.
up.
All right.
And
Okay.
Right,
All
you
right.
calling y'all first thing.
All right.
can call him tomorrow.
And then
So I think
Lauren will help you find the building because
Yep.
I'm
she
happy to
knows
do
every
that. That's what
building in
I do all
Chicago.
day.
Yes.
Yep.
We're ready for you. We're ready for you. I think we'll talk to you a little bit about. I think so. Tell me where you are. You are a resident DJ someplace now, correct?
Am I? Oh, I
Are
know
you
what you're talking about.
residency?
No. So I know what you're referring to. No, I am not. The venue kicked it off and then decided to pause it because of COVID still going on and the weather got really, messed up there. So yes and no. It's on pause right now. Hopefully once summer hits, it'll be back in full effect. So yeah, that's how that's looking for now.
Well, we will do everything we can to make sure that you are back in rotation everywhere that you'd like to be in rotation at. So, but I think actually, you cut off from on my end. But I think that was that Bureau Bar you said, or no?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was at Bureau Bar. It was gonna be on Tuesdays. Once summer hits, they want to reenact it fully. So I'll be there like every 2 Tuesdays when they're gonna do it. Yeah, but until then, I'm on the look for a brunch residency. I want to have like a weekly or bi-weekly brunch residency, and just
That sounds good. That's
throw
my favorite meal, brunch.
exactly. Everybody loves brunch. Everybody loves mimosas. Like I really
Yeah.
want to brunch residencies. If anybody has friends in high places, tell them to holler at me. I'm ready.
Okay.
Yes.
Way to
I
market
see.
yourself. Way to market.
I see my brother Goldfarb from high school just sent a note out.
Yeah,
Uh,
there you go far.
yeah,
So you see
Michael
Labs is
Goldfarb.
all in full effect here today, huh? You see Lab is
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yep. Saw Alan, Lori Westerfield. So yeah, good
That's
Mhm.
so
stuff.
cool. Well, they'll get to see you every month spinning live instead of chit chatting live. And when we're done at 10:30, they'll go to Twitch, and then they'll see your set. That is fantastic, by the way. I can't wait for the world to check it out, listen
Thank
to
you.
it.
I'm sorry I couldn't be there to do it live, but I will be there next month. But I couldn't do it. I had to travel, unfortunately. Hey,
That is,
Lori.
hey, Lori, we miss you here in studio. She'll be here the first week of March with her guests. Feel free to put your guests
May. She'll be the first
in
week of May.
the chat. Back to DJ Cashera. DJ Cashera.
Yeah,
May, yeah, beginning of May. Did I say March?
yeah.
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 Terrible. So,
Please
Kashira,
give
today
us
you
some
get to
time.
tell us what you are looking, what you want to, your prize, what your prize is going to be. Our prizes are whoever you put on your sheet as your favorite DJ. We will have them mentor you for an hour or two, or you can get cash. What is your preference?
Oh, I gotta take the cash. It's in my name. I'm taking the cash.
All right. That's what a banker would tell you to take. So nice move.
You know.
Oh man, who was your favorite DJ, by the way?
Ooh, I have so many favorite DJs. You know what? A lot of my favorite DJs are my friends. Like I don't know. I feel like the best way to work is to network across, not up. A lot of my favorite DJs are people who are in the game right now with me, and we're all working together. So like DJ Mo Mommy, DJ Nixon, DJ Ryan the Person, Villa, um, DJ B Man. The way that he cuts is amazing. Yeah, I would say a lot of people that I look up to are people that I'm in close connection to.
That's cool. That's cool. So we will have DJ Momami is also going to be in studio every month, every second Wednesday, and she is going to be bringing in the youth, bringing in some new life to the spotlight, the Vintage House Show spotlight. So we're going to be on fire here in studio and you're welcome to come. Here a little crazy, but if you ever wanted to check out the studio, you're welcome to come through. Northwestern will give you quite a few different things and hoops to jump that I have somehow found myself in here. DJ Keshner, thank you so much for participating in the March Spotlight for Women's History Month. And we look forward to learning more about where you go in your career. And then we look forward to following you throughout the country or throughout the world, wherever you're
Throughout the
spending.
world. Yeah, good stuff.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank y'all so much.
Yep.
Have a good rest of the evening. And we're going to go back to DJ Carl Jenkins. So, Carl, talk to me a little bit about sort of your style. Like, tell me if you have a style, if you think you do. Tell me a little bit about it. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, I certainly lean towards the soulful end of things. And that's influenced, obviously, by a lot of the sounds that came out of the 70s. But music being made by some of these incredibly talented and produced by incredibly talented DJs and producers, obviously Chicago, Terry Hunter, and Mike Dunn, just to name a few locals. But I listened to DJ Spin from Baltimore, a lot of his stuff, ton of soul, Mark Francis, and of course Louis Vega and Kenny Dope. But my style leans pretty heavily towards soul, and that soul doesn't always have to be U.S. based soul. It could be Italian soul. It could be songs produced elsewhere around the country. And I don't tend to be too fancy. I'm not a knob person and fool with the EQ a lot. I just try to get the music out in a fashion that that people will enjoy, and let the music play, let the music ride. And so I don't know. You might have to ask people who enjoy hearing me sort of tell me what they think my style is. I don't know if I have a style.
Well, you just said something that was really interesting to me. And you said, you like soul, you're soulful, and you look at soul across the globe.
Right.
I've always been sort of interested in that. I think one year while I was in college, you too got a Grammy Award for the Soul Group of the Year. And I did a paper on that because I was like, how is this European group get soul? Like, how are they somehow superseding anybody of African descent to be soulful?
Right.
So I had to write a paper on it. I wrote a paper on it. I was like, someone's got to explain to me the definition of soul.
Right. Well, it's interesting. That's a great question, because what I found a lot of music that we listen to is house heads. Some of the European produced music that people react to positively on the dance floor, it still has the elements of soul. So I appreciate producers who are sort of true to the origins and don't try to change it, say, hey, we're going to make something new up. If they pay homage to sort of the type of rhythms that we like and that we grew up on, that our ancestors sort of produced and laid the foundation, I think that really that's really why some of the music works. It may not be produced or written by a black producer or a black DJ, but it stays true to the elements of what we enjoy. And there's great stuff coming out of South Africa. There's stuff just coming from everywhere. It's really hard to keep up with the amount of new music that's coming out. It really is. It's incredible, especially during the pandemic.
Oh, Lauren's frozen a little bit.
You froze a little bit, Lori.
I know I froze too, but I always wonder how do you sift through global music forms? I think it's so much different than it used to be back in the day. You just went to the record store, dug deep, and then or asked the person what was new, what was up, that kind of thing. But now if you have a real job, okay, and you can't sleep, okay, you want to sleep, how do you take the time to look through all these musics from all across the world and
You-
figure out what's hype for you?
Well, I try to listen to as many DJs as I can. And my favorite DJs, obviously, of course, Alan and the rest of the Chosen Few crew, as well as some of the others I mentioned, Terry Hunter, Mike Dunn. These guys hear a lot of good music. The DJs we all follow hear music, and just constantly listening. And if something grabs my ear, I try to find out what is it.
Nice, nice.
And
Well,
so yeah, just you just gotta every day, listening to music, just surfing the internet, looking at the digital music sources, listening to mixes from people I never heard before. It's continuous work, but it's fun.
well, that it's got to be fun for you. I feel like if you're gonna take
Hmm.
on this, because it's a craft, it's an art form, but it can be work. It is
Hmm.
work for certainly a lot of people. So you have to love it, as I see it, to really, to sort of take the time and to sift through all that music and make sure you're spinning what's true to you and what you love, and that you're taking some time with.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
Froze, Laura.
yeah, I know it's terrible. So
Okay, that's all
you
right.
are. I can't wait to see you in May.
Mhm.
Feel free to bring a guest. You all could tag team. You could spin yourself. It'll just be a good time. We're just gonna hang.
Okay, all right.
And I'm gonna get into your set. Your set is a little bit longer than 30 minutes, so we're gonna get your set on right now. I'm
Okay.
gonna say, everyone, they've got to go to twitch.tv, The Vintage House Show,
Yeah.
to listen to the set. You can also go to 89.3 FM or WNUR.org
And can I
to.
mention my regular Twitch set? Am I
Oh,
allowed to
sure.
mention
Oh
that?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
every
go ahead.
Saturday, except this coming Saturday because I'll still be out of town. But every Saturday from 3 to 6, DJ Carl Jenkins on Twitch, 3 hours.
3 hours.
Yep.
That's serious business. Alan says he spends for 6 hours.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
Oh my
he. I'm fortunate enough to have some people to listen to my show. Then they go get dinner, get a snack, and then they listen to Alan at 8 o'clock.
goodness. Nice.
Yep,
That's cool. That's cool.
he's from 8 to 2, sometimes 8 to 3. I don't know how that brother does it.
Mhm.
That's serious business right there. Is there any place else people can hear you? They can see you on Twitch. What are your other social media sites?
Actually, I have a ton of mixes posted to SoundCloud, and they're used to be under the name Bank Beats. It's a real goofy name that I initially put up there but then I changed it to the Heat Exchange. So
Ah,
the Heat Exchange
very
or
nice.
DJ Carl Jenkins, you should be able to find it. There are probably, I don't know, 40 plus mixes up there. I need to
Oh
put some
wow.
new ones up. I used to have a residency at the Roby Hotel in Wicker Park for about a year and a half. I was spending there once a month, sometimes once every other month, but that was a really nice gig. So hopefully, once things open back up, I can get some more gigs. And I used to open up for Alan King periodically at Chant. So I have to thank my boy for that because
Oh
that was
man.
a real that was a great run at Chant. The crowd was intimate. It was there. Alan has been very patient in letting me hone my skills as I return to spinning. So it's been great.
That is so cool. I came out there to see you once. I love Chant generally for the food, but
Hmm.
then you were there. It was a bunch of us. We had a really good time too. The couple times I came to see you, so
Glad to
it was a
hear it.
good
Thank
crowd.
you.
A good
Thank
crowd.
you.
And the music was hype. So, guys, thank you all so much. Both Justin, the Vintage House Media uh, manager, and DJ Carl Jenkins. We will see you in a month, but stay tuned. Twitch.tv, The Vintage House Show. They will see a super hot mix from DJ Carl Jenkins. So stay
Yeah.
tuned. Turn to
Thank you.
Twitch if you're not already on,
Thank you
guys.
both.
All
Thanks
right.
a lot.
Uh,
All right.